Well, so many things are on my mind that I don't have to put this on. I don't have to publish this if I don't feel as though I've communicated well. And maybe this is one that I delete. If you're watching, it's one I decided to keep. But I do almost look at all of them, not all of them. If I know that my message is done, I just soon not look at myself or that I communicated it well. Sometimes I don't know if I've communicated it well. So I think for prudence sake, to not bore you and waste your precious time, because we're linear beings and we die, run out of time. I suppose that's a good thing to want. I have so many. The power of the presence of the power that we have in the presence of our being. And there's a moth that's struggling over here, and I'm gonna see what he's doing. See if we can bring him back to life. I don't think so. He looks like a big male to me. He's looking tired. Um, I guess fear has been on my mind. Fear and I think I heard the best um, explanation of the term that we've heard. Um, Only thing to fear is fear itself, and I think it's pointing what it's pointing to is no, he doesn't look too good. He still moves occasionally, and I know you're not supposed to touch his wings, so and I think he's missing a leg already. I was gonna pick him up and show him, but that would be just selfish of me. Um, I'm gonna keep these talks under 20 minutes to um, or shorter. But the thing I heard about "There's Nothing to Fear Yourself" was in a movie with I think it was Will Smith, and he was courting his cadet son in training on this planet through a maze. He was injured at a ship, and the boy had some task to do. And Will Smith was guiding his boy through his maze of unfortunate um, interactions with the beasts of the wild and the weather and the oxygen depletion on the planet, etc. Anyway, that's not all necessary. The thing I heard from this writer said that there is no such thing as fear because fear is only in the broadcasting mechanism of the mind. It's only in our imagination. It's what we're imagining to happen is where fear comes from. And And that's very, very true. It's amazing the deluge of where the mind's thoughts will take one some very untrue places. And but many people have said this in songs and you know, lyric, poem, short. Um, Nothing to fear but fear itself. So we get stuck in the imagination and running the videos of something awful. I got up this morning from a dream that took me half a day to recover from, for Christ's sake, because my mind's experience, and I won't get into the details of the dream. I know it. Obviously, I woke up with it, with the full, complete memory of the whole thing, and the perpetuation of the mind's thoughts, even after getting up, which is a horrendous way to start the day. So we imagine these fears. We imagine we imagine events happening, and this is where fear comes from. It just raises its head because we're falling on a scenario that's a negative consequence for us, a scary consequence for us, whatever that may be, right? So this is perhaps where the health of breathing comes, because anything that you can do that occupies your mind, your free will mind, in the moment is considered healthy, is considered meditation, is considered definitely a path. Gardening, or me on my motorcycle, or picking a scab intently. The whole idea is to neutralize this offensive often, and 90% garbage, like Petty said. Most of it doesn't happen anyway. I think that's part of it. Doesn't happen anyway. Yeah. So most of what I worry about doesn't happen anyway. Something to that effect. That might be a paraphrase. Sorry, Tom. I'm sure he doesn't mind. Right. Like he'll see this. Well, apologize to you guys or whoever's watching this. Tom might be watching. Then I want to shift and just check that out, really, because this is really a very direct teaching. It isn't really anywhere else to go with it. Because the first step is observing the phenomena. And some people have it more than others. I would say depressants have it more than others. I would say manics have it more than others. I would say uh, schizophrenics, paranoias. It is a root of anxiety. It is a root teaching. It is a root of anxiety. And a root of ailment as far down as is immediately penetrating into the electrical system as a human being. And as far down to the very cells of the human being. And sickening enough to affect your immune system and to give you cancer and to put holes in your head and your heart and the mind's thoughts ravish the body or support it, depend upon the mind's thoughts. All these things turn always back to developing your own routine for stillness, you see. Because if you're not in your own routine of stillness, what happens if you don't have stillness? You can actually live out throughout your whole now day in a state of history or future, historizing or futurizing, remembering the past and anticipating a future, a video in your head. And if you don't believe you do this, you do, because at, at a particle level, and we know so little about the brain because we can't get small enough. Moth is coming back. Come back, moth. All my blessings to you. May you be up and fly. There he did. He just flew. Wow. Okay, he flew 4 feet, but immediately when the words are spoken and the blessing is loving and colorful and full, you can heal things. There he goes. He's up into the light, into my foil light, into my lamp. Marvelous. I get to hear him rest of the night as he neutrifies, dries wings off, loving the heat. That's why they do that, I think. The heat, the photons. Oh, he went still. Did he fly away? Oh, I have a friend. Another friend. I get lots of friends as I keep my windows open during the day with no screens. So all kinds of fun things come and go. You don't have to kill bugs, just open your windows. They want out just as much as you do, just as much as you want them out. Right. So what is this discipline? You say, oh yeah, yeah, stillness, stillness. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I don't even do it enough. Really. I mean, I like it when I hit my bell 3 times and I breathe in order and with it and ask for the healing of every cell in my body, my energetic areas and the places in particular that I need healing as I take a full strides into the sunlight with the bell. We have to give credence to such authority of a cleansing, centering, living now mechanism as not being in the future or in the past. So, however it is that you're in the now, and it might take something like adrenaline for a while, or exercise, or occupation with your hands. You see, as me as an athlete, this is why I became such a honed athlete, is because my coping skills as a boy weren't learned. I hadn't a father to teach me, but I learned from other male men, which was fine. Lots of good male, which I'm grateful for. Good male role models, for me to watch ethic and decisions and disputes, what you do, your authenticity. I mean, because I knew the truth. If my father would meet somebody or running my coach or a neighbor or a friend or something, if he was suddenly happier than he was before, I knew it wasn't true. You see, pretended to be happy, or if he actually said a fact that wasn't true, I would know it. You see, because I watch very, very closely everything, always around me, in me, I guess, around me more so. I think much more sane as a child. Really, was well, life gets more complicated as an adult, right? So it all pulls together like this: the power of the mind to kill or to heal, mm, and everything in between, and to look at your own scenarios that you run. Become very inwardly observant of the nuances of your decisions. At what point do you make decisions? Back up your thoughts upon one another. You may find it hard to believe, but it's a sequence of many thoughts that finally, all accordingly as well, and thought through, the intellect of the venue of the mind searches for errors. We may call it the formation of integrity, certainly the formation of personality. So check these out. Just watch them for now. And we'll talk later about what to do when you discover these lies that are in your head. And some people, you know, don't have them, or almost don't have them, I think, you know. So check out where you're at, or arguments that you're having with two different views on something. And this is all fine. I'm just on then I'm offering and then I'm saying this, I'm saying then here's a chance again, as I mentioned earlier, this idea of stillness. And if you have to just be still by doing something with your hands or gardening or punching a bag or yoga or motorcycles or fast cars or whatever, at least isolated, be by yourself, because you want to cut out the human interaction part, because it's a time to take a look in within. You see. You don't want to be around words or music. You want stillness. And the words and music that you want are whatever's in the stillness. But this is why I love music so much too, because it takes me out of fear. If we will say that fear is only in the imagination. Now there's danger. I'm not talking about not paying attention to danger, but believe me, you will be more accustomed to athletically jump out of the way of a bus if you're not thinking of the future, for instance, or the past. Beating yourself up for the past. That's the negative part of a past thought. Same as damaging can be, especially if it's a strikingly, you know, something that develops a schism within the mind, a schism in the sense of we would call it dissociation or a break. The mind does not want to remember, our PTSD. These are all detrimental historical videos playing in our heads. These, some people have them more than others, certainly. Less than others, more than others. So just take a look at your scenarios that you run historically and for future. See how many, in terms of a weight, are negative. See how many in terms of a weight are positive. The volume. If a lot of them are negative, believe me, you're gonna ride along with quite a lot of anxiety because there's fear scenarios. Fear that creates anxiety. And here, as you contemplate, well, what form can I have where I sit in a chair and I ring a singing bell 3 times at a gradual pace, a pace that you feel that you want, a long time in between, or a short time, or time is just right, Goldilocks. Mhm. Because this, again, what I was saying is the root of, and we have a minute and a half. The, this is a root understanding, a root teaching that here's the problem and here's the solution. You see, here's the problem, here's the solution. In the stillness, you will find something else, but don't look for it. You see? And we'll talk about this problem of the mind where the mind will say, okay, I'm still now, I'm still, I'm still. But that's an illusion, that's Maya. You're actually not. If you're fighting to try to be still, then you're doing something, you see. So it's a little bit slippery. But when you obtain this point to where you go ahead and slip off and you really lose a linear concept of you sitting there trying to find stillness, this would be the point at which the mind goes into another state. And this has now been measured scientifically with yogis connected to electrodes. So their brain states will change So we won't get into talking about what you'll find because that would be you would be finding you'd be looking for it. You see. So take an inventory of your scenarios of your future in your imagination, negative, positive, and your historic videos as well. What do you play? What do you run away from? What do you resist at all costs, or something like that? These are powerful as well. And then painstakingly, if that's what it takes, sit in a chair and do nothing. Maybe a bell, a gong, you know. Or you could have even the wind blowing, the trees, and a wind chime, or something that's maybe that's a little too much commotion for my taste. But, and then we'll come back and we'll see how it went. Nice to be with you.